Before the story begins, Edric was part of an ancient group known as the Guardians, protectors of peace and defenders of the innocent, but his life took a tragic turn when his wife, Zara, was killed by the followers of a dark wizard he had once imprisoned. The pain of losing her was unbearable, and in his grief, Edric turned away from his sacred oath. He started drinking heavily, drowning his sorrows, and that's when he crossed paths with Holga, a fierce warrior from the desolate lands of Rock Bottom. Holga had been banished by her tribe for loving an outsider, and she recognized a kindred spirit in Edric. Taking pity on him, she offered him and his young daughter, Kira, a place by her side to survive. The two turned to a life of theft, and Kira grew up in a world where stealing was second nature. Edric and Holga, along with a few companions, Simon the novice sorcerer, Forge the cunning rogue, and Safina, a mysterious ally of Forge, embarked on a daring heist. Their target was a powerful relic known as the Talisman of Resurrection, a magical artifact capable of bringing the dead back to life. Edric's hope was to use it to bring back Zara, but things went horribly wrong. Safina, who had been hiding her true identity as a red wizard, betrayed them. She and Forge fled with the talisman, leaving Edric and Holga to be captured by the authorities. With no choice left, Edric entrusted Kira to Forge, hoping his old friend would keep her safe. After spending 2 long years in the icy prison of Raven's End, Edric and Holga managed to escape, making their way back to the city of Neverwinter. There, they discovered that Forge had risen to power, becoming the new ruler after the mysterious illness of the previous lord. But the most painful revelation came when they learned that Forge had been poisoning Kira's mind, convincing her that Edric was nothing but a greedy thief who cared more about riches than his own daughter. Kira believed Forge's lies and turned her back on her father. Safina, ever the cunning sorceress, tried to eliminate Edric and Holga, but the duo narrowly escaped her deadly magic. Determined to save Kira and clear his name, Edric resolved to rob Forge's vault and retrieve the talisman during the upcoming High Sun Games, a grand event that Forge had reinstated to draw crowds and fill his coffers. But the real challenge lay in convincing Kira of the truth that Edric's only desire was to bring her mother back, not for wealth, but for love. Edric and Holga sought out Simon, hoping the young sorcerer could help them bypass the magical defenses surrounding Forge's vault. Simon, though inexperienced, had a keen mind for magic and suggested they recruit Doric, a tiefling druid with the ability to shapeshift. Doric's people were suffering under Forge's rule, and she agreed to join the group. Eager to take down the tyrant who was destroying her home. Disguised as a fly, Doric infiltrated Forge's stronghold, discovering that the vault was protected by ancient enchantments too powerful for Simon to break. Their only hope was to find the Helm of Disjunction, an ancient artifact capable of disabling all magic in its vicinity. But the helm had been lost for generations, its whereabouts a mystery. The group journeyed to a forgotten graveyard, where the spirits of fallen warriors might hold the key to finding the helm. Using a talisman, Simon called forth the dead, who revealed that the helm had been given to Xandar, a paladin who had fled his homeland of Thay to escape the clutches of Shaz-Tam, a malevolent red wizard who had turned his people into an undead army. Xandar, still bound by his oath to protect the innocent, agreed to help the group, realizing that Forge's alliance with the red wizards posed a grave threat to the world. Together, they ventured into the dark, treacherous tunnels of the Underdark, where the helm was said to be hidden. After a perilous journey, they found the helm, but their triumph was short-lived as Safana's assassins ambushed them. Xandar fought valiantly, allowing the group to escape, but he stayed behind to hold off their pursuers, his fate uncertain. Back on the surface, Simon struggled to wield the helm's power. It resisted him, sensing his doubts and fears. The group's morale was at an all-time low, with Simon blaming himself for their failures. Edric, seeing his friends lose hope, shared a painful truth. His theft of the Red Wizard's treasure had led the Dark Wizards right to his doorstep, and it was his family who paid the ultimate price. Determined not to repeat his past mistakes, Edric rallied the group for one last attempt to break into the vault. They planned to use a magical staff to teleport into the vault during the High Sun Games, but when the portal opened into a solid stone wall, it seemed all hope was lost. Doric, however, refused to give up, shapeshifting into a worm. She began to dig through the wall, inch by inch, while Edric, Holga, and Simon launched a frontal assault on the castle. Inside the vault, Simon finally attuned to the helm, breaking through the magical defenses. But the vault was empty, a clever ruse by Forge and Safina. The real treasure was hidden beneath the arena, where Safina planned to use the games as a cover for her dark ritual, turning the spectators into an undead army. Captured and forced into the gladiatorial games, Edric and his friends fought their way out, only to discover Forge's true plan to flee with the treasure, while Safina unleashed her deadly curse. In a desperate race against time, the group stole Forge's boat, rescuing Kira from his clutches and returning to the city just as Safina's spell began to take effect. Realizing they had only moments to act, Edric used the magical staff to transport the treasure across the city, drawing the people out of the stadium and away from Safina's spell. Enraged, Safina confronted the group in a final, epic battle. Simon, now fully in control of his magic, nullified Safina's time-stop spell, while Kira, using a magical bracelet given to her by Edric and Holga, rendered Safina powerless. In her final moments, Safina was defeated, crushed by the collapsing arena, but not before fatally wounding Holga. In a heartbreaking decision, Edric used the Talisman of Resurrection to bring back Holga, realizing that she had become more than just a friend, she was family. In the end, Edric and his friends were hailed as heroes, their names forever etched into the history of Neverwinter. Forge, his schemes unraveled, was sent to the same prison from which Edric had escaped, his power and influence gone. As the story closes, Edric, Holga, Simon, Doric, and Kira stand united, a new family forged in the fires of adventure and bound by the unbreakable bonds of loyalty and love.